If you're dealing with somebody that brings up, it's my way or the highway, and if you're not going to, I'm going to divorce you. If the D word is their way of controlling you, think about that. First of all, what have you done in the past that's communicated it's okay to do this? Today, we're going to talk about how having the word divorce spoken into your marriage may be the absolute best thing that ever happens to your relationship. And I know this flies in the face of most advice out there. The reason I'm bringing it up is not because I think you should say it, okay? But it's a reality you need to deal with, because if you have a partner who is saying, if you don't stop XYZ, I'm going to divorce you, they are making a threat. And then your relationship is not about what's God's best. It's not about serving each other or serving your family or serving the kingdom. Hello. It is about power. And that is not a thing that belongs in marriage. It doesn't work. Okay. So if you don't fix this issue of your spouse calling out, hey, if you don't do this thing, what you're doing is you're basically adding that to the landscape of your communication. You're making threat be a thing that is allowable in the relationship, and it increases the power dynamic. It doesn't decrease it. One of the phrases I hear people say all the time is, well, if I do this thing, then they'll just... So they're saying, I can't because they'll. Okay. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're going, I can't because they'll do this thing, you're in a power dynamic that's not healthy. I have a client who is, well, actually, I have several people in my life, some customers in our classes, some coaching clients who are dealing with spouses, partners that are saying to them, they're just dropping the D bomb every other time they have conflict. And it is literally a situation where they don't know what to do. Like one of them last week was talking about how, they were interacting and they disagreed with them. And they're like, look, you need to agree with what I said. I know more about this than you do. And if you don't stop hounding me about it, we should just get divorced. Like literally that's where that person went. And it's like, are you kidding me? What I want you to do, if you're the person dropping the D bomb, I want you to stop it. Like for real, stop. Because if you don't, you're adding this power dynamic into the relationship. Well, what do you do if you're the person who has this dropped on them? It's very simple. You take a deep breath and you say, you know what? I want to talk about this when we can both be calm. And so I'm going to come back in about 20 minutes and we'll finish our conversation. If I remember properly, we were talking about whatever it is, getting the kids to soccer or your mother's retirement fund, or, I don't even know, whatever it is, right? The sale of the house. I don't know, but you're going to label what it is. And you're going to say, I'm going to come back in about 20 minutes and we're going to talk about it then. And the reason you do this is people need about 20 minutes to stop the fight, flight, or freeze response that their brain is gone into. They're now in, I'm a lizard, I'm a primate, I am under threat, so I'm going to throw these words out at you that are damaging to the relationship. And so you want to, first of all, insert space. And you want to do that in a way that's kind. So you want to have an expectation of calming down, and you let them know you're going to discuss it, because people, when you just abandon conversation and you never get back to it, that's also damaging to a relationship. You don't want to do that. So you want to have the conversation. You want to communicate that we're going to have the conversation. You want to do it kindly, calmly. And you want to say, I'm going to come back in about 20 minutes when we can both be calm. So I'm going to go pray. Why don't you pray? Let's invite the Holy Spirit into this discussion. So you don't have to respond the way that they are. You don't have to react emotionally. So what do you do then? You go pray for 20 minutes, you go get calm, and you come back and you state the issue in a calm, general way. So if I understand properly, we were talking about how we were going to go about purchasing a car for our son that met our criteria. And we're having some difficulty discerning what the criteria was. And then you navigate what those things are together. You have the conversation. Hopefully it'll go better. If you're dealing with somebody that brings up, it's my way or the highway, and if you're not going to, I'm going to divorce you. If the D word is their way of controlling you, think about that. First of all, what have you done in the past that's communicated it's okay to do this? And stop doing that, whatever it is. Maybe you've said nothing. Maybe you've shriveled up. Maybe you've given them their way. But whatever it is, don't do that again. So we recommend inserting space, respectfully coming back to the conversation, letting them know you're going to go pray, that kind of thing, and that you want to talk about it when you can both be calm. But if this person brings it up again, it's okay to go, you know what, that word is not useful to our relationship. It actually damages it and it wounds me. And so I'm not going to have conversation with you when you bring that up. So I'm kind of done with this now. When you want to talk to me about this topic and can do so without threatening me, I'm happy to have that conversation, but I don't want to hear the D word in our communication anymore. And you may have to say that a few times, and you may have to leave the room a bunch. But over time, that person will learn, and you have to get good at this too, because the first couple of times you try this, you're going to be lousy at it. Like they're going to say, well, why do you think that? Or how you can't, and they'll try to bring in a kitchen sink, they'll try to pull in some other topic. Well, what is it you think you need from me? No. You stick to the one thing, which is, well, we can talk about that later. Right now, what I'm saying is I want to talk about this thing that you brought up. Let's say it's a car. And when you're ready to talk about the car and can do so in a way without threatening me with divorce, then I'm happy to have that conversation. So please let me know when that is. Otherwise, I'm not part of the discussion. And you're done. Okay. So if you have a situation where that's the person's main go-to, you have to understand that over time, your behavior has communicated this is okay with me. And so changing your behavior, your response to them is going to make things worse for a while. Just know that. But understand, you're not going after a perfect outcome on the first try or the 12th try. It takes a while for people to learn and understand that you mean business, that you're going to protect your marriage, that you're not going to allow damaging communication into it. And it's not good for your spouse to feel like they have the freedom to speak like that. And so if nobody's holding them accountable for that and doing so in a gentle way, right? Because you want to be gentle, you want to be respectful. You don't need to lose your stuff just because they did. And you have to understand how people change. They can only change at about 4% increments that's outside their comfort zone. If you look at our Greater Impact logo, it's a bullseye, but the center of it's like crystal clear, sharp, pure, round, complete circle, right? And then there's a swirl that comes out from that becomes a hot mess at the end. And it's kind of like that hot mess at the end. That's the outer layer of a bullseye. That's where the panic stage is. So if you push somebody into panic stage when you're asking them to level up their behavior, if you're expecting them to be perfect every time, they're going to hit panic and they're not going to know what to do. And they're going to be a disaster. And you need to have that expectation of yourself too. Otherwise, you're going to freak yourself out and you're going to be judging yourself. It's going to be ugly. But saying, you know what, I caught it after the fact. I caught it 5 sentences in. I caught it 20 minutes in. This time I only listened to him yell at me for an hour, and I'm used to an hour and a half. I mean, these are the things that people talk to me about. Let's cut that back an hour. Let's cut it back to 20 minutes. How can you level up the next time? What's 4% for you? And then be okay with that growth level for the other person. They're not going to change overnight. The other thing you have to do, and this is the third thing, is you have to check your motives. Because if you're all about getting what you want and being selfish and all that stuff, guess what? You will not get what you want. I mean, that's in James. You don't get what you want because you're going at it with the wrong motives. if your goal is to honor God, and if your goal is to love the Lord with your life and to protect your marriage and protect the relationship and protect the other person, then God's going to honor that. But you have to allow people time to change and to grow. So I just want to throw those things out there to you as a way of handling the D word being thrown into your relationship. And if you put a stop to that, stop in the name of love, then what you can see is improved behavior over time. And be aware, it'll be uglier first, but over time, your relationship will have more mutual respect in it. Have fun. Good luck. Hang in there.